Am I live? I don't know. I haven't done this in a minute. Okay. I appear to be live. All right. Ooh, okay. I hope this is working. Hello, everyone, and good morning, and welcome to Raquel Teaches Web Development. My name is Raquel, and today I'm going to be showing you all about, well, not all about, but I'm going to be showing you about CSS borders and the border style property. Okay, so I'm going to do my some sample code so you guys can see how it all works. So let's just switch to the screen here. So right here, I just have a sample page with some, content on the page. And if we switch to the code editor, you'll see that this is just a bunch of paragraphs, some text that I've assigned a class to. So the way that borders work in HTML and CSS is that you can apply borders to any element. All right, some people typically see borders on things like tables, but you can apply them to paragraphs, you can apply them to images, you can apply them to pretty much anything that you can insert on an HTML page. And so, and there are other attributes that borders have, not just style. So, but the thing you have to remember is that when it comes to borders, the first property that you have to set is the style. That's why this is the first property that I want to show you about borders. And then in other tutorials later this week, you will see the other attributes that I'm talking about that can be combined with borders to achieve different effects for different elements. So what I'm going to show you right now is a bunch of different styles of borders that can be applied and how they look, and then the CSS for that as well. So we're going to start off with this basic text document here of a few paragraphs with each with a class assigned, and you can see that I just gave a description for the type of border that's going to be applied. So now let's switch over to the CSS, and what I'm going to do, I have it all commented out, and I'm just going to uncomment one at a time. And actually, let me also just show you, just so you see that it's very plain right here, right? And so what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to uncomment these one at a time so you can see how the style is created and what it looks like, all right? So the first one is a dotted style, and it's exactly what it looks like. So I'm just going to uncomment this here and save the style. And then I'm going to refresh the page. And when we refresh it, you'll see that it produces a dotted outline around the element. And so now, if you remember from some HTML tutorials I gave you, that paragraph is a block element, right? And so it does stretch the width of the page or the viewport. And so you will see this border applied to that block element as it is stretched out over the page. When you are applying borders to things like an image, images only take up the size that they are on the page. And so you will see it only around the particular image, not necessarily stretched out to fill out the page the way you would with a paragraph and other types of elements like tables. All right, so this is what a dotted border looks like. And the way that you apply a dotted border to a style is that you just use the border style element here, the border style rule here, and then you apply the property of dotted. Okay, and the same applies for all the other styles. Okay, and so you're going to see dashed is going to be the next one, right? So let's just uncomment the dashed border style property. And let's go back over here and let's refresh this page, right? And you start to see that as well. So it's a little bit more stretched out than dots, but dashed. So you get the idea here that as long as you just set the border style and decide what style you want, that's what's going to be applied to the element. So I'm just going to go ahead here and uncomment the rest of them. So everything except for the last one so that you can see. Oops, you know what? I need to uncomment all of them because I commented them one at a time. And I think now that you see how it's applied, you really don't need to hear me say, hey, just type outset, or here, just type none. So actually, let me stop at none so you can see that. So let me save this. So right now what I'm going to show you is the dotted, dashed, solid, double, groove, ridge, inset, and outset styles for a border. All right, so I'm just going to save that. I'm going to go back over here to the page and refresh. Okay. Oh, it didn't apply the double one. Why is that? Let's just double check. Maybe I did something wrong. Oh, I left this unnecessary comment thing there. I think that's what's messing it up. Let me just go back over here and refresh. Yes. Okay. So now you can see what all these different styles look like. Keep in mind too that depending on the kind of browser that it's being viewed on, some of these may have a slightly different look, especially when it comes to the inset and outset borders, because they tend to have what's like a beveled look, like a beveled look that's underneath, that's pushed down versus or pushed in, versus a beveled look that's pushed out or up. So the inset is the one that's pushed in, the outset is pushed up. These may look different on Firefox or Safari. Microsoft Edge gives all kinds of looks, but those are generally the looks. Now, if an element has a border already and you don't want to see it, you can just hide it, right? The same way we've learned to hide other elements. So if we go back over here, the way you want to hide hide a border is just set the border style to none, right? Or to eliminate or hide it. That gives the same effect, right? So that one is kind of silly to display, right? But that's something that if it was existing on there, you could take it off. So that's no border. And that's pretty much the same effect for hidden border as well. So if we go back over to the hidden border style attribute, it's the same. Oops, it's the same. I'm not sure. Oh, I forgot to take this off. And let me just save that. And when we refresh the page over here, you'll see the same thing. It's nothing. Now, one other thing that's neat about borders is that you can combine different styles, right? And so you're not limited to just using one style. You can set up to 4 styles, because remember that when it comes to CSS, everything has 4 edges. And so we can set the top, the right, the bottom, and the left in that order, right? So always remember that when you're setting styles on CSS styles on an element, it goes in a clockwise fashion, top, right, bottom, left, and you can set an attribute for each side. And so that's what this last example is showing here. So you'll see that the border style is going to assign a dotted style to the top edge of the element, a dash to the right side, a solid border style to the bottom, and a double border style to the left side of the element. So I've uncommented this last combination of styles, and I'm going to save it. And then let's just refresh this page one more time so we can see. All right, and you can see that it works, right? You'll see that, hopefully you can see all of that, but you'll see that it has the different styles applied to each side, okay? And so that's how border styles work. And the key to remember here is that there are a bunch of different styles that you can apply. In other tutorials, you'll see other attributes you can combine with them, but you can also have a mix of border styles all on one element. You can hide it. You can have no border if you want to. Okay, so that is how the border style property works. I hope that you found this helpful today. If you did, please take a moment to click like for this video. And if you want to be notified of future videos, or if you know anyone else that might find this video or this playlist or this channel helpful, please go ahead and subscribe. Let them subscribe and share it with anyone you know that might find it helpful. Thanks again for taking time out of your day to check in and tune in and check it out. And enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless.